Hi everybody, this is Demari. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm doing the Shadow Work Tarot reading for the sign of Cancer. Now, as you know, at the weekend we had a very powerful full moon in the sign of Pisces. Now, what was interesting about this time with the harvest moon is that a lot of purging took place. There was a lot of things that were brought to our awareness so that we could heal, okay? So that was like the trigger for this healing work that's taking place right now. So that's why I like doing these shadow work readings at the time of the mid-month, because after the full moon you then have the awareness that comes with that revelation, and then you have the means via the work to do more healing, more processing, and then be able to move forward in a more positive way. So to begin with, I'm going to be pulling from the Dark Mirror Oracle deck, just to get a gist of the energies associated with what the shadow self is trying to reveal to you at this time. Then I'll be using the Wild Unknown Tarot in order to get more information in regards to specific circumstances involving potentially you, others, and your emotional self. And then of course using the Intuitive to clarify any messages where needed. So let's just have a look then. So what has been coming up for you as of late? What is it that your shadow self is trying to reveal to you at this time, Cancer? Okay. So you have, I will not cry for you anymore. Okay? I won't cry for you. Right? Is what it's actually saying, but it's the same thing. So with this card, as you can see, she's got bloody tears on her face, but they've dried, right? They're not running everywhere anymore. And she's holding a little blood vial. So it's like she's giving the final gift, all the tears that she's cried, all the blood that was spilled on behalf of this individual. And she's giving it as her farewell gift, because there's nothing left to give, right? I won't cry for you. It's done. So this is about understanding your feelings on a circumstance, and really coming to terms with something, with a loss or with a change in dynamic or a heartbreak especially, and just accepting things as they are slowly. But just before you get to that full acceptance, you're at the point of purging again, right? That purging has taken place, and now this is like the residual energy attached to that, after the purge. So you're in that space of just numbness, and that's when from there you can move slowly into the space of acceptance, right? So that's what that energy represents, just that numbing catharsis that comes after the purge. So let's see what else is here for you, Cancer. Because it's never just one thing in isolation, right? So it's good to... I always pull two cards so I can see what's at play here. The Temple of My Body. Interesting. I don't usually get this card very often. But as you can see, there's a female who has a jeweled necklace that almost looks like blood dripping from her fingers, her long claws. And she has this kind of interesting posture with red eyes. So she's almost like vampiric in her appearance, right? Kind of like succubus energy in a way. So this is also representing the awareness of your energy and the impact you have on others at this time. So it may be that you're aware that you're attracting specific types of people, or you're attracting a lot of different people at this time. But because you're emotionally detached or emotionally drained, it can end up being kind of vampiric in the way in which you interact with these people. There can be some psychic vampirism going on, even unintentionally. Unintentionally, you're not trying to harm them or drain them or use them in any way, but that's kind of happening a little bit under the surface maybe, because you're aware of how others see you, you're aware of your attraction and your appeal, right? So it may be that you are kind of embodying that energy a little bit. But also there is a flip side to this card in that it's also telling you to appreciate your body, accept your body, look after it, okay? So maybe you have to take better care of the self, okay? As well as like, as you are focusing on your emotional well-being and trying to heal, you also need to take care of yourself in body as well, okay? So that's an interesting combination. I definitely feel like, even though you might not feel like you're operating at your best, you're certainly getting attention at this time, Cancer. So just be aware of that, yeah, that you may have a much stronger effect on people than you realize, okay? So let's have a look then to see what may be going on for you at this time, especially with this energies. Because it's very like the energy I'm getting from this combination is very Lilith energy, okay? So it's like the dark mother, right? The darker aspects. So rather than the divine feminine, this is more like the infernal feminine, as I would put it. And that's not all necessarily a bad thing. It just shows us that we have some healing to do, and that while some aspects of that can be temporarily rewarding, that's not going to serve you in the long run, okay? So first I'm just going to pull cards for the column of last week. So this represents energies and events from last week. The middle column is indicative of what is taking place this week. Okay. And the final column is in relation to what can be expected in the final week of September, so next week, okay? Alright. So let's have a look, shall we? So to begin with, early last week you had the Sun of Cups. So yeah, that's very water energy, right? Which is your energy. You know, Pisces, Scorpio and Cancer. So it could be in relation to an individual that's also a water sign, but I feel like this is more to do with your energy. The start of last week. The Sun of Cups represents the Knight of Cups, okay? So I think he was feeling, quite hopeful actually, that there was a lot of positivity, you know, in your heart. That even though, you know, in regards to some aspect or some individual, there was some pain, there was still some healing that needed to take place. I think, you know, you still had this hopeful energy and you were still ready to, you know, potentially connect with another on an emotional level. But that wasn't necessarily your main goal at this point. I think you, more than anything, you were more ready to give yourself that love and care that you need, okay? But I'll clarify all this afterwards anyway. So in the middle of the week you had the Star in reverse. The Star can be Aquarius, okay? So you could be dealing with an Aquarius that caused this heartbreak, or it could be an Aquarius that you feel detached from at this time, especially with it being in reverse, or just the fact that your wishes are not, you don't feel like your wishes are being fulfilled in some way, that your dreams are not coming into light, right? That your dreams are not happening, that your aspirations seem distant, and that your affirmations are not working. That's probably how you felt in the middle of this week, that I'm putting all this energy and intent into these things, but I'm not seeing them happen. Nothing's happening yet, right? And then in the end of the week, so around the time of the harvest moon, you had the Six of Cups in the upright. So I think you really started to get a clearer picture of what it is you truly want, what matters to you most. And I think you realized that actually you have abundance, right? Maybe you just weren't looking at it from the right lens, that you actually have a lot to be grateful for, right? So I think over the weekend you stepped into this space of gratitude. You know, they started to see that actually I have a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot of things in my life that are going right, or that are changing for the better. So why am I, you know, worrying about whether or not things are going to come to me, right? They are coming to me. It just takes time, and you know, it's one thing after another. I just have to be a bit patient. But yeah, good things are here, right? Which is great. That's the kind of energy you want to be, you know, walking into, and having that awareness, that mindset, because that will attract more abundance. Yeah. So going into early this week, you had the Ace of Cups. So even though you know that there was a lot of positive things to be grateful for, there was still something you felt a real lack in, and it was making you upset, okay? So it could be, again, in relation to a previous relationship or a connection you had. But even though you were upset and you felt the loss still, you was not crying over it anymore. The well is dry, okay? So it probably made you feel very weird. You felt very numb and just feeling that sense of lack, I think. Because you were used to pouring into someone else's cup, and now you don't have another cup to pour into. And that's making you drain your own cup, right, onto the floor. But you need to fill yourself again, okay? That needs to be the focus, to fill your own cup, not someone else's at this stage. And I think you know that, right? I think you do know that. And you're just trying to figure out how you do that. You know, again, like with this energy from last week, I feel like that was your intention, to try and fill your own cup again. And you really wanted to make that the priority, but obviously maybe something happened, or some communication took place, or just feeling the absence of this person's presence made you feel like your cup was empty, okay? And then in the middle of the week, you had the Ace of Swords, okay? So yeah, I think some communication came in that really made you rethink how it is that you see this circumstance, or how these people, or a specific person, views you, right? That you thought maybe they didn't want to communicate with you anymore, that maybe they don't care, you know, maybe you thought that you were just kind of going to be disregarded in some way, right? But that didn't happen. Some strong communication came in. It may not have been for very long, it may not have been very in depth, but it was a clear message, right? That that's not the case. And we'll see more about that in a minute. So going into this weekend then, you have the Three of Wands in reverse. So I feel like you're choosing not to manifest something because you're afraid that you may leech something positive out of it because of the energy you're in right now. I feel like maybe you're afraid to commit to someone because you know that energetically and emotionally you're not quite in the right space for it yet. So maybe with this communication, someone kind of made it known that they're interested in bridging this gap, right, in the connection. But you're hesitant to do so because you've already felt like you've lost so much, right? And that you're not in the right space for that, okay? So it might be throwing you off a little bit that this communication came in and this person's clearly trying to bridge that gap in some way, okay? So going into the beginning of next week, you have the Two of Swords in reverse. So something was decided between the weekend and the beginning of next week. Some decision was made in relation to a situation. So maybe you made a decision as to whether or not you will try and bridge this gap with this individual, or if you're just going to move forward with your life and see where other possibilities take you. Because as I said, right now I feel like you're attracting a lot of attention. So you have options, right? And maybe that's what's kind of your dilemma at this point. Like, what do? Do I focus on this person and try and mend this connection? Or do I just you know, explore my other options, right? And then going into the middle of the week, you have the Flower of Wands. So that's King of Wands, that's fire energy. That can be Leo, Sagittarius, or, oh my gosh, my brain, Aries, sorry. Yeah, Leo, Sagittarius, the Aries. My gosh, my brain is just so tired at this point. Yeah, so it could be either one of those signs that you're dealing with, or this can just be energy that you're embodying at this time. You could have fire in your charts. But yeah, I mean, this is, you know, someone who is stepping into their power and manifesting, okay? This is someone that's not taking no for an answer and, you know, being an active participant in their story, right? That's the King of Wands. Someone who makes shit happen, basically. And I feel like you may be coming into this energy, but I feel like this could be someone else's energy. Because I feel like you're still kind of indecisive. But so I feel like this is someone in your life. This could be, a fire sign that you're dealing with. And they're making it clear what their intentions are at this time. And you're having to really consider that, you know, what it is that's being conveyed to you or shown to you at this time. Because they are showing up, you know, they may not have before, but they certainly are now. And you're having to really think about that. Okay. And finally then in the position of the end of the month, so at that weekend, you have the Seven of Wands in reverse. So yeah, choosing not to act, choosing not to accept the offer or accept what is being shown, kind of taking a step back from it, being kind of almost, I feel like you're running away, to be honest. I feel like you know the connection's there, it's so clear as day, but you're running from it in some way because you're afraid of getting hurt again, or you're afraid of it not being what it seems, right? That there's some deception there. So rather than going for it wholeheartedly, even though you do want this connection, I feel like you run away a little bit from it because you're just like, I don't know, this is intense. I don't know if I can do this. I feel like something is not adding up. I don't have all the facts, you know. So whatever reason, I feel like you kind of run a little bit. Okay, so let's see if we can get some clarity on this circumstance because, yeah, it's an interesting read, I will say that. But I feel like you are feeling very defensive and very standoffish and trying to protect your energy. Because I think you feel a certain sense of obligation to whoever's involved as well, that you don't bring any harm to them either, right? Because you're aware that you're attracting a lot of attention and you may have been exploring some of those options. I think you don't want to give this person a full sense of security, right? You don't want them to think that, oh, you're just going to go off into the sunset and get married, right? So you're kind of being a little bit cagey, a bit standoffish while you try and figure out what the hell it is that you're doing and where you want to go with this, right? But let's clarify. Okay, so beginning last week with the Son of Cups, you have the Justice card, okay? So, yeah, I think that you realized that what you needed most was to take care of the self, and that once you take care of the self, then other pieces will fall into place, you know, that there will be some positive things being manifested into your life, but until you're right within yourself, it's not possible, okay? So that's why that became such a focal point for you beginning of last week, that you really wanted to improve all areas of your life for yourself, you know, your health, mental health, spirituality, you know, resting, sleeping, eating, all of those things, right? Maybe exercise too. So you've got the Ace of Wands, so yeah, you was very much thinking about your self-development, where you need to be, taking care of all matters of the self, so that you're operating on a high frequency. And then with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, I think that you feel like you haven't been giving yourself enough attention, time and attention. You've not been taking care of yourself as much as you need to. So that's why it was so important that that became your focus, right? So what about the Star in reverse then, in the middle of the week? Okay, you have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So, excuse me. So I feel like with this disconnect with this individual, or with this lack of feeling, you know, fulfilled or anywhere near towards achieving, you know, your goals, your dreams, that's brought a lot of pain for you, I think, actually. And if not pain, then it makes you feel like you're so unlucky, that things never go in your direction, right? That things never go, you know, in the right way for you. But again, I feel like that might be a bit self-deceptive. Sure, you've had things to contend with, things haven't been easy, and it's been a very long road to healing and to transforming, right? But I don't think that's the right perspective to have. Right? You got the Star card in reverse again, so this easily could be, you know, your highest hopes is attached to a connection with an Aquarius, right? Because the double Star card as well is a bit much. So it could be in relation to an Aquarius, but may not be. But either way, I feel like you know, the way you're looking at it is going to bring misfortune to your door, okay? So if you are negative about it and you believe that, oh, nothing positive ever comes my way, I'm never going to get there, that's what's going to happen. You're going to attract that negativity towards you, okay? So that's why it was really important that you readdressed your perception towards things and the way your life kind of generally goes, okay? And that's why it was so important that with that weekend that you did have this realization and you focused more on gratitude, right? Because that's the energy you should be operating from. That's where you want to be making your affirmations and mantras and communicating from the universe in, right? From a space of gratitude, not lack, okay? So yeah, that's why that was really important over the weekend. I think you kind of really felt that need to count your blessings, right? So let's just get some more clarity with that. Yeah, you got the Six of Swords. So I think you were moving away from that pessimistic, negative outlook on things and moving towards a much more grounded, thankful space, right? Where you're seeing the blessings in your life, you're seeing the positive things and the things that are going right in your life rather than things that are not quite working right now. Yeah, so that was very transformative. You know, that was a very transformative moment for you because it completely changed how your reality was coloured in your eyes. Right? You saw the good in things to a level that you hadn't for a little while. Okay. So that was really powerful. That was actually a very important transition for you that weekend with the full moon in Pisces. You purged these negative feelings and outlook on life, right? And adopted a much more positive perception on things. Okay. So what about this Ace of Cups then? Because that kind of contradicts that a little bit. So yeah, I think that's not generally. I don't think you feel that in all areas of your life. I think there's a lot that you're grateful for. But when it comes to this connection, you can't help but feel this lack, okay? It's something that plays on your mind and on your emotions. You can't let it subside, right? No matter even if you've tried to just, you know, run away from the circumstance, it's still there. It's still there. Oh, gosh. Okay, yeah, the Fool card. So, you know you're going to have to either take a leap of faith if you want to change it, right, you know you're going to have to just move forward in some way, because sitting in this energy is not helpful to you. And I think you know that until you kind of at least entertain it and see what can happen, the not knowing is going to drive you crazy, right? That's going to bring you more unhappiness than the risk of potentially it not working out, right? So I think you know you kind of have to take a leap of faith, but you're not sure what necessarily how to approach that subject with the person, right? So that's why when this communication came in, probably initiated by the other person, that was really important, because then you felt like you could at least have an opportunity to communicate with this person about it and see, you know, how they feel about things. Yeah. So I feel like you were both looking forward towards each other, right? I don't think this three of wands is just you. I think you were both waiting for that opportunity to come and meet in the middle and discuss it properly, right? So you probably communicated that maybe you're going to meet up, maybe you want to have a proper sit down and a conversation, go for a coffee or whatever, and really discuss it, you know, properly. What went wrong, how you can fix it, you know, what it is that you both truly want from this connection, right? So I think you knew that, you know, if this came in, then it would require you to take a leap of faith, to at least go and hear this person out, right? And share your thoughts and feelings. Requires a little bit of vulnerability, right? And that's probably what was freaking you out at this point. And you've got you've got the Magician in reverse. So, yeah, I feel like, yeah, this wasn't something that this wasn't a communication that you initiated. This was the other person. Because they've been feeling it as well. They've been feeling this loss, right? And that's why they just decided to just contact you and see if there's a chance of being able to at least discuss it properly, yeah? Because they're feeling the loss as well. Okay. And you have the Six of Cups, so definitely wanting to mend this relationship or connection, wanting that emotional fulfillment with you, and that's what they need to communicate. Okay, so what about with the Three of Wands then in the weekend? Three of Wands in reverse, because for some reason you bail. So what is that? Okay, you got the Emperor card. So that's Aries energy. Could be an Aries that you're dealing with. Or this could just literally be their energy they're in, that they're very self-sure, they're very confident, they're very knowledgeable, they're grounded, but this can also come across as very stubborn and maybe even a little bit demeaning at times. So maybe that's the thing that kind of puts you off, because you feel like they're not necessarily seeing it from your side or hearing you properly. And then you also have the Knight of Pentacles. So it just may be that because they're so sure of what they want, you may feel like things are being a bit rushed, that they're trying to move things forward, where they may have been hesitant previously and the one wanting to slow things down. They may be the ones now that actually want to move forward quite quickly, and you're just very unsure and feel very vulnerable and not quite ready for it, right? Because you're still dealing with this energy here. So yeah, I feel like this person wants to move quite quickly. They want to build foundations with you. They want something real, something sturdy. And, you know, they're looking for their Empress, I feel. And they think that maybe you could be it. And you're just like, I have no idea right now. I'm trying to figure out what in the fuck, right? That's what I feel like. Yeah. You're not sure. You're not sure about this connection. They want it. They really want it. But you're not sure because you feel like there's so much water under the bridge, or, you know, there was feelings that got hurt on your side. So you're really feeling a bit defensive and a bit protective of your heart space right now, which is understandable, you know, and I don't think you should rush it if you don't feel ready, because there's obviously some healing that needs to take place. So, you know, that's fair enough, and they do have to understand that for sure. With the Page of Wands in reverse, yeah, I think you feel like you're just not ready to start afresh with this person. That you've still got work that needs to be done for yourself, right? You're not done with your own emotional healing. You're done with the toxic cycle with this person, you know, the emotional drainage. And that's coming to an end. But you're not ready to start anything new up with this person, I feel. And that's why you're trying to you're kind of holding off. Or you're telling them that you're not ready. Or you just want some more time, or you're not ready to give them an answer yet. Something on that level, I feel. That you're just not ready, essentially. That's what's coming across here. You're not ready. Okay, and what about with the Father of Wands? In the middle of the week? So you got the Moon card in reverse. So something was brought to your awareness. I feel like this person... again, because this is fire, King of Wands, it could be an Aries, Sagittarius, or a Leo. So it could be an Aries, or it could just be someone with very strong fire energy in their chart. Could be an Aquarius with fire energy in their chart, because the star came up twice in reverse. But either way, this person, they reveal something towards you. They make their true feelings known. They're not hiding anymore. They're coming in very confident and bold, and they're just saying, look, this is how I really feel about you. And you're kind of, obviously, that takes you aback even further, because I don't think you felt like you was ready to hear that from them. But they come in very clear, and they communicate that with you, how they truly feel. They're like, look, I don't want to hide this anymore. I don't want any secrets between us. I want everything out in the open. So they told you exactly how they feel, and you were like, okay, fuck, what do I do now? Like, this is intense, right? But you may have had to communicate it, of course, to be fair, how you felt, and you may have told them, like, look, I'm not ready for this. I've still got work to do on myself. I don't feel like I have my foundations yet. I still need to sort myself out financially, or I need to sort myself out emotionally. You know, I have work to do. I'm not ready for this. You know, I'm still healing from the past or whatever, right? Or I'm still healing with the things that went on between us, right? Whatever it is. You're kind of letting them know that you're just not ready yet. And that may bring them upset, that may make them feel like you're just leaving them out in the cold, that you're abandoning them in some way, even though I don't think you are. But I think it makes them feel, even though they might be financially well off, they may be doing very well in life, you not being in their life makes them feel poor, right? That's what I get from this. Like, I can have everything, but if I don't have this person, I have nothing. That's the kind of energy I'm getting from this, right? So they may be quite hurt by that, but they understand at the same time that you do need time, and that you've had a lot to process yourself. So I don't think they're going to react really badly towards you. I just think they're going to be a bit hurt, but they will understand what you're saying, and they do appreciate that you have needs, and there's things you need to take care of for yourself. So what about this Seven of Wands in reverse then? Because I do feel like this was you running away. Yeah, you got the Nine of Cups in reverse and the Eight of Cups in reverse. So you were just like, I am not ready for this. Like, just running, absolutely running for your life. Just like, I know that this appears to have everything I ever want. You know, what this person is saying now, and the way they're communicating about it, and what they're showing, shows me that they're finally ready for what it is that I wanted with them, or what I was hoping that the way things would go with them. But I'm not ready. Like, there's so much hurt that I have to deal with still. I have things I have to process. I'm not ready, you know. And you may get defensive, and you may just kind of bail, pretty much, you know, because you just feel like I'm not emotionally ready to take on this level of connection, right? Because they may want a serious commitment at this point, and you're just like, I am not ready for that. Like, I've still got so much work to do, and you know, I don't know if you're legit. Like, you know, it may be that you feel like, you know, in some way you find it hard to believe that all of a sudden they want this, right, as much as you did, right? Or suddenly this is at the forefront of their minds when, you know, all this time it didn't seem like it mattered to them that much, and that's why you had been hurting, or whatever it is. Or they didn't put the work in before when you were in a relationship, if you were together previously, or whatever it is, right? You're just like, but I just can't believe that. Like, I need time to process this, and I need to see that it's real, right? So you're kind of running a little bit because you just don't believe it at this point. I think you're just kind of you're needing to see proof, right? You're needing to see that it's real, and not just nice words being communicated at this time, right? You need to see that they're willing to put the work in, that they are willing to invest in this connection, yeah? So, yeah, Cancer, man, like, I am drained for you just doing this reading. Yeah, it's a lot to process, and of course, yeah, you do need to take your time, you do need to process and heal. It's great that you're healing and your own self-care has been at the forefront of your mind. Continue with that. That's really important work before you thinking about any of this too much. But obviously that communication is already coming up for you, so you're going to have to be honest with the person and let them know as clear as you can what it is you need at this time, okay? If you need time to process and heal, if you need time to figure out what it is that you want, if you need to see that the words match up with the actions, then that's what you need to communicate, okay? Because this will be discussed, okay? That's coming up, but that doesn't mean you have to necessarily jump straight into something if you feel not ready, okay? And then, you know, when you're doing this healing, this will probably help bring some clarity and balance with this energy, so you're not feeling like you know, just a walking temptress, right? Even though that's not necessarily bad in itself, but it's good to have a balanced energy, right? So you'll be able to heal that a little bit, and, you know, not emit this this energy to this frequency, right? So you have the divine feminine energy really balancing that more, you know, infernal Lilith energy, right? So when that comes into balance, I think you're going to be able to see the situation and your feelings much more clearly. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like it if it resonated with you, and do subscribe if you haven't already. But thanks for watching anyway. I look forward to doing your next reading.